All right, welcome back. We're talking about Chapter 7 Social, Mobile, and Local Marketing. Marketing and advertisement has really come into a new age as more and more companies move on to the internet. Before, when we would advertise, it was really just a one way conversation. Commercials, billboards, they just put out information for the products and services. Now we really need to change our thinking because a lot of our marketing, a lot of our advertisements can be conversations with potential purchasers. We want engagement with them. Anytime a company makes a new post on social media, there can be hundreds and hundreds of comments from loyal customers, from people who are skeptical, or people who may have never even heard of this product or service before. This is a really good opportunities for companies to engage with these individuals and have conversations with them. Throw in a smartphone or a tablet, especially with GPS location on it, we can really narrow down and pinpoint exact individuals that we want to share with. Like I talked in the previous side, our traditional marketing goals are to deliver messages to the most consumers. That's how traditional print media, commercial, and radios have worked. We want to deliver messages. And even when companies started moving online and we would have early online marketing, it was still how do I deliver my message and my products to the most consumers? Are we doing email campaigns? Are we doing banners or even pop up advertisements? But now that we're going into Web 2.0 with more social interaction, that changes our goals. We want customers to become fans. We want them to engage with us and to engage with their friends about our brand. If your friends like a brand or they like a product and they talk about this product, you're probably more likely to buy or at least look into that product than something of your own. There's there's a psychology behind this and it works, and that's why companies want people to become fans online, to like their page, to subscribe to their page, to share their products, and to interact with them. That is social marketing, and that is where we're headed in the online environment. Vast majority of social marketing takes place on our large players: Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, even Snapchat. And this is where all of the name brand companies are. They live here, they're interacting there. And a lot of these sites have really great tools that the company's marketers can gauge their engagement. We know how effective our plans are. We know how effective our posts are. And that's where we really look at, hey, how many unique visitors do we have? How much time are they spending on our ads, interacting with us? And even are they resharing our ads? I spoke before, I run two Facebook pages for different nonprofits, and it's amazing the amount of information that Facebook gives me about the advertisement campaigns that I have, or even just the posts that I make. Even the free posts, you're paying for advertisement, but the free posts you make, you still get a lot of good data from that. And if you pay, a couple bucks for, a couple hundred eyes on target, as we like to say, you get a lot of good demographic data from that, so you could tweak your next advertisement. There is a very well thought out process and a roadmap from acquiring new fans to building community. Take a look at cell phones. I think if we look at this class, you're going to have very strong iPhone users and very strong Android users. And even the Android community, you can break that down with, very strong Samsung users. Well, these people started somewhere. They wanted a phone initially. There was some sort of fan acquisition. Well, why did you pick an iPhone? Why did you pick an Android? Maybe your friends used it. Maybe your family used it. Maybe there was just a really good deal and then you were sucked into that world. Well, some of those people you might follow Android or Apple or iOS groups. You might follow these on Facebook or Reddit or social media. As you follow it and you engage with those posts, your friends can see the posts you make, and it snowballs into this larger world looking at how you interact with this company. And then it gets to a point where there's a community aspect in it. Anytime Apple or Google makes a new post about phones or updates to the Android OS or the iOS, the community comes together and they help people out with issues. There's always complaints anytime there's a new operating system update, but that's really where the community gets together and it becomes stronger. And a lot of times that interaction reinforces brand loyalty. Sometimes it can also sever brand loyalty as well. If you get an update and you're really not satisfied with the performance, you might switch over to a competitor. Anytime we're interacting on Facebook, we want to have a really good campaign plan. We're going to start with the beginning. Obviously, we need to have a Facebook page if you don't have one. So we're going to create a page for the group. Maybe we're going to create a page for this MIS class. We want to make sure we have a lot of content and dynamic content on there that users can comment on and interact with. Once we get a good community of users and we have that initial building blocks of a following, we really want to spice up a little bit. We want to have video ads, really rich media, and maybe some contests. Anytime there's a contest, that's a really good opportunity to gain new followers if we're giving something away. A lot of times, social media contests, you get so many entries. Think of that as a virtual ticket. And there's different programs that companies can use where to say, all right, well, every day you can get a free entry, but if you visit our webpage, you get another entry. If you visit our Facebook page, there's another entry. If you share this on your page, you get 3 or 4 entries. And you see how this effect gets larger and larger because the individual user who wants to win whatever this prize is, they want to get as many tickets as possible to maximize their chances of winning. And a lot of times when you share this post, that's more tickets. So the more they share it, the more tickets they get. But then everybody in that individual's friend circle will see this competition and say, oh, maybe I want to win that contest. And then they'll start liking and following and visiting the pages. And it just goes into the circle, and that is how pages grow exponentially overnight. And always have self promotion. Anytime you see companies put out videos or even YouTube content creators, they usually open or close their video with hit that like button, subscribe, ring the bell, whatever action they need on that platform to get users to interact with them. A lot of times people need reminded. You could follow a YouTuber or a company for a long time and not actually follow them. And when I mean that, you just see their posts or you watch their videos, but you're not actually subscribed to the videos or you haven't actually hit that like button. So when we tell people to go above and beyond, hey, hit that like button, subscribe, comment, we kind of remind them to get into that. And commenting alone, that also, helps build a lot of these algorithms too and make people interact. Especially YouTube has a lot of interaction algorithms based on comments. So a lot of times, especially during a YouTube video, whether it's a company or an individual YouTuber, maybe they'll pose a question halfway through the video and say, hey, what do you think is going to happen? Or, what's your feelings on this? Comment below, I'll read it later. Whether or not they actually read it or not doesn't matter, but that ticks up the algorithm. There's a lot of interaction on that video. Talked about matrix. We really want to get a lot of data. If you're a marketing manager for a company, especially if you're paying for any of these ads, we want to make sure that we get good data from it. So what are our impressions? These are our fan acquisitions. Do we have engagement? That's our conversation rate. What about amplification? What is our reach? Sometimes we preset this. If you are buying a Facebook advertisement, you can say, I want this advertisement to be seen within 10 miles of this zip code. or sometimes you just see where the ad went. Maybe it just spread out. Maybe you're a large, regional company or a national company. You just kind of want to see who in the United States is looking at your ad. Of course, the community, this can be easy and difficult to measure at once because you can see how many followers you have, but not all of those followers would be fans. Maybe people just randomly like a page, or they were a fan and fell away from the brand, but never unfriended or unliked your page. But you can also get a good sense of community by just watching the comments, watching the the conversations that your fan base has that isn't necessarily driven by you. Maybe you don't make a new post in a while, but people are still commenting on the post. If your page or group allows average members to start a conversation, what are those conversations about? Are they positive conversations? Are they negative conversations that kind of change to the positive based on the rest of the community? So, for example, maybe we're a technology company and we come out with a new product, and somebody posts, "Hey, I'm having all these issues. This is just a hunk of garbage." But the community comes together and tries to reassure them, "No, this is a really good product. Maybe you're using it wrong, or check these settings." And the community comes together to do a lot of that PR cleanup for you. A lot of times when we're talking about super fans, these are the people that do the quote unquote free PR for the company. They don't want to ever hear anybody bad mouthing iPhone because they love iPhones. They're always going to swoop in to try to save the day and fix any issues that another consumer would have with that product. Twitter has a lot of the same tools that Facebook does. It's a different platform. It's you're limited to how much you can tweet at a time. They say it's a little more real time than Facebook, and I think that really just comes from how short your conversations are. It's interesting when a company has multiple social media profiles because they can either have one campaign that spans everything where we pretty much post the same thing on Twitter that we do on Facebook, or maybe they understand that they have different audiences on different social platforms. So they tweak their marketing campaign. Hey, this style would work best on Facebook. This would work best on Twitter. So you really need to understand the constraints of that platform, but also the unique demographics of that platform. Not everybody that would follow you on Twitter has a Facebook, and vice versa. Some of this does sound too good to be true, and there is a downside. Unlike traditional medias, commercial, radio, print advertisement, when we put something out, that's just the way it is. Consumers ingest it or they ignore it, and that's the end of it. But with social marketing, when we put something out, we need to maintain it. We need to interact with it. You don't want to be that company that makes a post and then immediately locks comments. It can easily become out of control. Your advertisements can be taken out of context, or they can be skewed with other events. Sometimes companies would post something that in one area might be tasteful, but in another area, based on current events, could be offensive. We also have to take into account, what are our consumers saying about our posts. When we post a positive thing about a new product, are consumers supportive of it, or are they critical? A lot of companies have gotten in trouble based on how they react to these posts. Now, on the flip side, some companies have been very successful with being brutally honest and shooting down rude, crude, or inappropriate comments. The first thing that comes to mind is whoever runs Wendy's Twitter account. If you follow Wendy's Twitter account, sometimes they get brutally honest with people and borderline offensive sometimes. Wendy's Twitter account has been known to um, start brawls with other companies. They would go out and insult McDonald's and they would insult Burger King, and they're very quick to come out. So they understand how Twitter works, and they can really use this to their advantage. But at the same time, Wendy's will also shut down average users who post crude and inappropriate comments, and that looks great on them, and that builds a lot of following for them. But if companies don't shoot those comments down right away or don't respond to them appropriately, it looks incredibly, incredibly bad. Mobile marketing is kind of a beast on its own because pretty much everybody has at least a cell phone or maybe even a smart tablet or some sort of other smart device with them. We use this almost constantly. Unfortunately, whether it's for work or personal, I'm on my phone a lot. Uh, that's a good and a bad thing, but it also changes dynamics for mobile marketing. Companies know that we're on our phone, and they want to be able to reach us, and they want to make sure that we are clicking or tapping on their advertisements and interacting with their brand. Location-based marketing is huge and it's incredibly growing. And you may or may not actually count this if you have the GPS turned on or off in your phone. On a side note, even if you have your GPS turned off, apps can still have access to your location data. You really got to dig in a lot of the settings and make sure your privacy's in check. But let's just say, for this class, your GPS is on. Location-based marketing is great because we as the company know where our consumers are, and we can push advertisements to them. We can push sales and deals to them when they are in or around our stores or when they're at our competitors. It also helps with other things. How many times have you been to a store? I was out grocery shopping last week, and as I was leaving the store, I got a little Google Maps notification asking me to leave a review of this grocery store. This happens a lot, and it's all GPS based. My phone knew where I was. It knew that I was spending a lot of time in this area. So if you're spending 15, 20 minutes in a grocery store, you're probably doing a lot of shopping. Same thing can be said for other stores as well. So that was a really good time for Google to ping on me and say, hey, you know what? We see you go to this store a lot. You spend a lot of time here. Why don't you leave a review? And leaving reviews are powerful because a lot of times when you're looking at reviews, we'll just say on Google, maybe you're looking at a restaurant or you're looking at a store, chances are you don't know those people. You might see some familiar names. You probably don't know any of the people that are leaving the reviews. And sometimes some of those people aren't even real people. They're just, computer generated reviews. But it's human nature to trust or at least listen to another human being's opinion on something. So a lot of times you find yourself reading reviews. Hey, there's this new restaurant in town. Well, let's see what they say on Yelp or Google or any other thing. Or you're looking at this new product on Amazon. Well, the first thing you're probably going to do is scroll down to the bottom of the page and read the reviews. See what other people say about this. And it's pretty easy to weed out all the 5-star super stellar comments. Well, those are probably fake, and probably some of the 1 stars, hey, this thing is a piece of junk comment, are probably just trolls. So you kind of look for those 3-star 4-star comments to kind of find the middle of the road and base your purchasing decision off those reviews. Another great tool we have for local based marketing campaigns using GPS is time constraint offers. Anytime you tell somebody that there's a limited offer or good for today only, you kind of get stuff going in their head that maybe they need to act on this. So if we can combine that with GPS, so I know that customers are in my store right now, or they're looking at my page right now. Well, I could push things out and, oh, maybe you're at Kohl's and you have the Kohl's app. Oh, you're in Kohl's now? Well, if you buy all these things or spend $20, here's 5% off or something. A lot of those opportunities really motivate people to buy extra things or buy things that they weren't really necessarily looking for in the first place. A lot of strategy goes into any marketing campaign, but especially when we can look at location and time that consumers spend on site. it gets incredibly strategic and almost to the point where you're like, oh man, I've been duped by some of these advertising campaigns. But that's the point of it. We want to really engage with people. We want them to keep coming back to our store, and they want to keep spending money with us and not our competitors. All right, so we're going to end the video here. Keep pushing forward. Keep up the great work. If you have any questions, please ask.